Hello, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining in. It's been a pleasure having you from the very first day, Introduction to Cloud Computing, and now you are here. So I'd like to say a very big congratulations to you for making it this far. Congratulations. Okay, so this is our primary focus for this series, which is Microsoft 365. For us to have a better understanding, I would like us to know the difference between Microsoft 365 and Office 365. Most often times than not, we use Office 365 and Microsoft 365 loosely, thinking that they are the same thing or they offer the same service offerings, which is not the case. There are two different subscription services offered by Microsoft. So what is Office 365? Office 365 is the very first initiative designed by Microsoft, for their users in order to enhance productivity, collaboration, communication across boards. And it is a cloud-based platform. So what does that mean? It means that it's a complete finished product, a SaaS offering, which is your software as a service, designed and hosted by Microsoft in Microsoft's data center and provided to you wherever you are all over the world. All you just need to do is sign up and use. More like your, plug and play. So that's why it is a cloud-based platform. Okay, so just like your Office 365 that offers productivity, collaboration, and communication, across boards, your Microsoft 365 also offers all of that, but with additional or extra features. So Microsoft 365, simply put, is also a cloud-based application designed by Microsoft to give you extra features or extra functionality beyond Office 365. So this table, does justice to what we are saying. If you look at the service offerings here, Office 365 gives you the ability to use Office Suite, Outlook and Exchange Online, OneDrive, Teams, Editor, SharePoint Online, Skype for Business. I must say over here that Skype for Business will be retiring by May. So for as many of you that are using Skype for Business, which is also a communication and collaboration tool just like Teams, you will no longer be able to use Skype for Business by May. So Skype for Business will be retiring by May, guys, May 2025, and everyone will be migrated to using Teams alone. Okay? So Office 365 gives you Skype for Business, Planner, and Yammer. So all of that I have mentioned is what the Office 365 service offering provides for you. So what is the striking difference? Microsoft 365 gives you exactly everything that Office 365 gives to you. However, it has 3 additional features that you must take cognizance of. The first one is device management. Device management tool example is the Microsoft Intune. So it provides, device management in one collaborative platform for you. So advanced security features for your Office 365, it doesn't really come with advanced security features like information protection, data loss prevention, and etc. Okay? And the third one is Windows. So this is a beautiful feature. For example, if you are to provide your staff who is using a Windows 10 with a Microsoft 365 advanced plan, he or she will be able to upgrade to Windows 11, without any additional cost. So if I was using Windows 10 and you gave me a Microsoft 365 advanced plan, I can just upgrade to Windows 11 and it's going to be licensed for free. So I must add here, Windows 10, guys, will be retiring, I think May as well. I'm not too sure of the date, but I'm going to say it in our next class. It also will be retiring by sometimes this year, meaning that Microsoft is not going to be providing security updates, patches and more features to your Windows 10, which means that you need to upgrade to Windows 11 as soon as you can. Because if you're still using Windows 10 and Microsoft no longer offers support for the Windows 10, it means that you are just, giving yourself open doors to cyber crimes, because there will be no longer update patches coming in from Microsoft to support your Windows 10. So please, if you haven't upgraded, kindly do so as soon as you can. Thank you. So these three that I have mentioned, device management, advanced security features, and Windows, are the striking differences between Office 365 and Microsoft 365. So as a future, or as a consultant that you want to be a future consultant, you should understand the differences between these two, okay, and advise accordingly. So let's talk about the subscription types. The very first one in our category is our Microsoft 365 for home plans. This comes with two flavors. Okay, the very first one is the Microsoft 365 family, and the second one is the Microsoft 365 personal. So I must say that there's been a lot of upgrade here, so this is not the recent price. Let me take us to the recent cost price here. Okay, I just wanted to be sure that we can see this. I believe so. Let me check one more time. Okay, yes, we can. Alrighty, so Microsoft 365 family is now $129.99, so a round figure of $130, and it offers you to be able to share amongst 6 people. Meaning, if you are 6 in number, instead of purchasing the licenses for 6 people, just like the personal plan where we'll be heading to soon, you can purchase the family plan and share among 6 people. Okay, so if you have some businesses, I must say here, some businesses actually think this is the right plan for them because they want to save cost and use $130 to share among 6 people in a year, but they do not understand the concept between using the Microsoft 365 family plan, personal plan, and a business plan. They do not understand that they have what you call an organizational preference. So if you are an organization and you're using Microsoft 365 family or Microsoft 365 personal, is a no-no. So future consultants, please take notes, because it's happening right now. Like some organizations, they do this, which is very wrong. So let's look at what else you can do here. You can use on PCs, you can use on MacBook, you can use on phones and tablets. You have up to 6 terabyte, guys. 6 terabytes, that's 1 per user. You have productivity apps with Microsoft Copilot. You have identity, data, and device security at the barest minimum. You have ad-free secure email. Okay, so these are what you can get when you're using your Microsoft 365 family. And it is quite cost effective compared to the personal. The personal provides everything that the family provides. However, it's just more like a one-man mopole. You get to spend more for just using, one. So roughly $100 for using just one license for yourself, when you can just add $30 and get 6 extra, licenses for 6 people. So, well, my advice is, even if you're just a one-man mopole, you can go ahead to use the family plan. You never can tell. You might have more people coming into your family, or more people that you think you love and you want to share the licenses across. So $30 is not going to hurt anybody. It's just going to give you more. 6 terabytes in comparison with 1 terabyte for just one user, while 6 terabyte cutting across 6 different users. Wow, that is something for you to consider. So if you're a consultant, please take note. You should know how to advise the family people, or people in the family cycle or circle. So the next thing we are talking about is the business plan. The business plan, just like your home plan, it has its own features. The beauty of the business plan is that it's more business focused. So I call it organizational preferences. It has organizational preferences compared to your home or family plan. So what do we get to have here in the very first one, which offers us $6 per user? We get, let me scroll down. So we get to use all our Office suite. However, for our Microsoft Business Basic, we do not get to use them on our desktop. We get to use them over our browsers. Correct? I will show us what that means. So you get identity access and user management, meaning that you can create users using business plans. You can go ahead to the admin portal and create users. You can have up to 300 employees under one subscription. So if you purchase one subscription of your Microsoft 365 Business Basic, under that subscription you can have over 300 licenses. So if your organization is between 1 to 300, you can go ahead to use your business plans. So the striking difference here is that the business plan, in comparison with the home or family plan, it has what you call the organizational preference. An example is what I just mentioned, the custom business email. Now, I said that you can create users, right? You can create users, but how do you identify these users? For example, most of us, we work and we use our organization's email. Let's say j.i@dominos.com. Dominos.com is our organization's domain, right? And that's how we are identified at work. Our work email goes with what? j.i or harry.u@dominos.com. So using your business, even from the list, which is called the Business Basic Plan, you can get a custom business email, just like what I have described. So it offers, I said this earlier, Office suite, but you cannot use it on the desktop. You can only use it via your browser and your mobile phones. We will see how that works, okay? So it also gives you ability to chat, to call, and do video conferencing using Microsoft Teams. However, it is still over the browser and not over your desktop application. Okay, so if you have a mobile phone or a web browser, you can use the Microsoft 365 Basic, seamlessly, but you cannot use them on a desktop plan. So per license, you get to have 1 terabyte. So if you purchase 5 licenses under the Microsoft 365 subscription plan, you get to have what? 5 terabytes, of which you're given 1 terabyte of cloud storage to your employee. So we all know, or we're more familiar with Google Drive, right? So you see that Google Drive where you get to upload some of your files and all of that. Microsoft does have theirs, and it is called OneDrive for Business. So anytime you hear that word, OneDrive for Business, know that it is Microsoft's cloud storage. So if you have one license in your Business Basic plan or in any of your business plans, it comes with 1 terabyte per user. So what do we have here? Again, it has 10 plus additional apps, which has to do with Microsoft bookings. That thing whereby an interviewer sends you an invite and they tell you to schedule with them. Calendly, for example, and you get to click on the link, select a date, and click on save. So Microsoft actually has that particular feature, and it's called Microsoft Bookings. Planner is, if you have ever embarked on a project before, you must have planned in such a way you broke down the project into tasks, right? So if you do not have an application to do that, Microsoft Planner can help you do that seamlessly. Forms, we are all used to the Microsoft Forms. The form that we use to register for this program is an example of a Microsoft form, and etc. Okay, so Microsoft 365 Business Basic also offers you automatic spam and malware filtering. So they give you the barest minimum security feature as a business. Okay, so whenever an email comes into your organization or goes out of your organization, it offers what? Automatic spam and malware filtering. So it scans the email to filter it against malware, or if it's a spam email, so that you would know, right? So anytime phone and web support, so you can always raise tickets to Microsoft 365 support if you have at least the business basic plan. Okay, AI chat, you can also chat up the AI to get writing assistance, data analysis, and access to agents. Then Microsoft 365 Copilot available as an add-on. So you also have Microsoft 365 Copilot. For those who do not know what Microsoft 365 Copilot is, it is the AI powered service designed by Microsoft, just like your Chat GPT. So if you haven't tested that out, you can go ahead to type in copilot.microsoft.com on your browser and see exactly how it looks like. So you can actually chat with it, you can ask it some questions, and it will generate the answers for you clearly. But if you're using any of the business plans, that is, if you're using the Microsoft 365 Business Basic Plan, let's start from there. It gives you the Microsoft 365 Copilot, but not the full feature. It gives you the basic feature so that you can just, more like an add-on, like an extra extension. I love explaining an add-on like this. You don't want a full orange, or you don't want like a basket full of orange. You just want to have a taste of a basket full of oranges, but you just want to have a taste of an orange. So you get the fundamentals, right? So you just pick it from the bag and you put it in your plate and you say, okay, I don't need a basket full of oranges, I just want just one orange. Okay, so that one orange offers you the basic taste of what a typical orange would taste like. So that's exactly what it means, but in a more technical term, when you hear a feature is available as an add-on, it's not giving you the full functionality of that feature, but it's giving you the barest minimum, or the fundamentals of what that feature can offer. So for your business basic plan, you get to have that. So let's quickly move on to our business standard. Business standard, everything in business basic that we have explained. However, you get to have the desktop versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. So the desktop version is what we are used to, something like this, right? Where you type Word and it brings up something like this, right? So just something like that is the desktop version. Okay, so you can type against Excel, you can type it against PowerPoint and Outlook, and you get to see them out. Okay, just like this. But for your business basic plan, you do not get to do that. You only get to use them over the browser. I will show us how that looks like as we progress. Okay, so you also get additional feature like collaborative workspaces to co-creating using Microsoft Loop. Microsoft Loop is a collaborative tool designed by Microsoft for co-creation, but do not worry, you would see a little bit of what that looks like when we're talking about Teams. So Microsoft 365 Business Standard offers video editing features and design tools using Microsoft Clipchamp. So if your organization is heavy on media, you know that they do a lot of graphics, do a lot of video editing, you can just purchase Microsoft 365 Business Standard, and you don't get to purchase any additional media feature, because with just $12.50, you can definitely get all of these tools in one package. So it also have Microsoft 365 Copilot available as an add-on. So everything that your Microsoft 365 Basic would have, including the basic security feature, please take note of that. Including the basic security feature, you would get all of that using the Microsoft 365 Business Standard and more. So let's move on to Microsoft 365 Business Premium. For the Microsoft 365 Business Premium, it's the highest the highest subscription plan when it comes to the business plans. Okay, so it gives you everything that you can get at business standard and definitely more. So what are the more? Advanced identity access management, enhanced cyber threat protection against viruses and phishing attacks. For Microsoft 365 Business Standard and Business Basic, it just talks about malware and spam. But if you're using Microsoft Business Premium, it goes ahead of you and gives you enhanced cyber threat protection against viruses. So you don't even need to purchase an extra antivirus for your staff. It gives you that as part of the package, and protection against phishing attack. Okay, so it also gives you enterprise grade device and endpoint protection. So it protects your device against viruses as well, against network attacks and all of that. You can get to discover, classify, and protect sensitive information. So there is what you call sensitivity. You have sensitive info types and sensitivity labels, okay, in Microsoft 365. So they get to help you classify your data. For example, there are some information you do not want to spread across your organization due to attacks like cyber attacks like phishing and all of that. Example of those information is what you call your bank BVN. You do not want your bank BVN to be out there. Maybe someone mistakenly typed your bank BVN and sent it out as an email to another person in your organization, or even someone outside your organization. So what will this do? This data classification will understand that this is a sensitive information and it will encrypt it. It's going to block it. And sometimes, depending on how you configure it, it's going to tell you that this information cannot fly, like you cannot send out an information like this because it's sensitive. Okay, so that is just a little bit of a glimpse of what the kind of advanced protection the Microsoft 365 Business Premium can offer you. Okay, so it also offers you the Microsoft 365 Copilot, available as an add-on, not the full feature but as an add-on. So which leaves us to the last one of the business offering, which is Microsoft 365 Apps for Business. This is a very funny sorry for calling it a very funny subscription type, but it's wise because Microsoft feels that some people, they want a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of there. They do not want the entire offering. They just want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So why don't we just bring all of these features and make it a subscription type and offer it for a very minimal amount? Example is Microsoft 365 Apps for Business. It gives you the desktop versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. It gives you 1 terabyte of space, just like every other one would give you 1 terabyte of space. It gives you any time home and web support, meaning that you can call the Microsoft 365 support anytime and they will respond just the same way other features can. Okay, and it also provides you the 365 Copilot as an add-on. So the only difference you can see here is that it looks like the Business Basic plan, right? But it has the desktop version. So it's just more like, okay, I need the desktop version, and okay, just add an additional $2 to it, and yeah, you've purchased the Microsoft 365 Business Plan. But it's not it's not my best plans. If you would ask me, it's not really the best plans. I would even rather use the Microsoft 365 Business Basic because it offers more. Example, bookings, planner, forms, and that, and this one doesn't really give you all of that. It just gives you desktop versions of the Office suite. Okay, so now that you understand this, we need to quickly move forward to the next one, which is the student offering. So Microsoft has what you call the student plan. So it's cut across the globe and different organizations or different institutions. Sorry, if your university has that ability or is in partnership with Microsoft, you can use your university's email address. It could even be a secondary school. You can use their email address, and then you can have access to Office 365 education for free. okay, for free. So you can see it here. Microsoft donates Office 365 education to eligible institutions at no cost to ensure all students have access to tools for learning. So if your institution is eligible, then you would have access to using Office 365 for free. And you notice Office 365. Okay. So I'd like to pause here and show us an example of what the cloud-based service looks like. For those that are purchasing Microsoft 365 Business Basic, this is exactly what you get in terms of Office Suite. So all you just need to do is go to office365.com. Office.com, office.com. And once you type office.com, it's gonna bring out the page, prompt you to put in your user ID and password if you have a subscription. And once you do so, it brings you here. Okay, it brings you here. So if you're using the business basic, service offering, you will not be able to use the desktop application like I showed us here as an example. You won't be able to just type and see Word. Rather, what will you be doing? You will be able to come hover to your left hand side, go to the app launcher, and then you launch your Word. So this is exactly how your staff will access the Word document. They will have to access it over the internet, over the browser. Okay, so same goes with Excel. It's loading. The same goes with OneNote. And where is PowerPoint? So let me see if this is open yet. Okay, this is Excel. You can see Excel. Let me go and open a plain Excel sheet. So this is PowerPoint. Let me go ahead and do this. Word. I thought I just opened the plain Word. Okay, let me open the plain Word document. So you see it's loading. So this is exactly how your staff will be able to access Word. It's actually dark because I'm using the dark mode. Excuse me. It's actually dark because I'm using the dark mode. Most often than not, it's going to be a bright background. So this is exactly how they will access. This is exactly how they will be typing across boards. Hello. And they save it. Right. So now one thing you should notice is if you're using the cloud offering, that's the web version of the Office suite, it automatically gets saved, right? And all you can do is go ahead to share with people, just like your Google Sheet, okay? Because I know we all are familiar with the Google Sheet, but some of us, very few of us, know about the Microsoft web versions. Rather, we are used to the Microsoft desktop versions. So this is the web version of Word. This is the web version of PowerPoint. This is the web version of Excel. So you see, it looks good. It's beautiful. It's just that you need to access it over the internet, over the browser, right? Okay, so that's it. So take a pause and think if this works for the organization based on what their needs and budgets. As a consultant, these are the things you need to think about. What exactly do they want to achieve? How much do they have? Before you can now say, okay, out of the 4 business plans, which one is suitable for them? Now that you know how the web works, you should be able to prefer a very good solution for your organization. So then we move on to the enterprise plans. Oh yes, enterprise plans. Microsoft 365 is broad. Office 365 is broad. So they have a whole lot of plans. And this is the reason why I'm taking my time to talk to you about them, because as a consultant, you need to know, if not all the plans, majority of the plans. Okay, and that's exactly what we'll be looking at. So here, we're going to be very fast about it. So over here, we have the Microsoft 365 Enterprise Plan. The enterprise plan, remember I told you something about the business plan. If you purchase a business subscription, be it business basic, standard, or business premium, you can only have 300 licenses under that particular subscription. But if your organization is over 300, then you can have like 2 subscriptions that have over 300 licenses. That is if they do not have the budget, to go over to using the enterprise plans. But for the enterprise plans, it offers you 1,000 licenses for a subscription because you're an enterprise, meaning that you have a lot of staff cut across the globe or just in one location, but you have about 1,000 licenses per an enterprise plan. So what makes an enterprise plan tick? What do we have here? Microsoft 365 apps for desktop and mobile. So remember, your business basic plan only have what? Web and mobile. But for your enterprise plan, from the list enterprise plans, I'm not talking about the F plan, we'll definitely come to the F plan. From the list enterprise E plan, right, we are talking about, it has the ability, or it affords you to use the mobile apps, okay, desktop application, Windows for enterprise. Remember, we talked about Windows, whereby you get to have a Windows license for free, or that comes along with this particular offering. You don't need to pay for a Windows license additionally again, okay? So it offers 1 TB of storage just like your business plans, but it has core security features and identity management capabilities. With your business plan, you may not have all the core features. I mentioned some of the features that the business plan can offer you, but with the enterprise plan, you have advanced features such like information protection and all of that. Information protection, conditional access, policies and all of that, right? Don't worry, don't bother your head. When we talk about Entra ID, as we progress, you will understand the differences between the security types, okay? But just understand that the security type in your enterprise plan is top notch. It's way advanced compared to the one that you would have in any of your business plans, okay? The one that could come close is your business premium plan, but it does have a core feature much more higher than the business plan, so that is it. So it has Microsoft 365 Copilot available as an add-on as well. And then the next enterprise plan is the E5 license. This is a very big plan, right? It's like the overall plan that Microsoft has. And if you purchase the Microsoft 365 E5 license, just have it at the back of your mind that you get to use everything that Microsoft can offer in their productivity tool. That is how close it is. You get to use everything. So you have advanced security and compliance capabilities. You have scalable business with analytics using Power BI. The E3 doesn't come with Power BI. So if you guys are heavy on data analytics, you can go for your E5 for the data guy, or E5 for everybody, because it offers you Power BI at no additional cost. Okay, it provides Microsoft 365 Copilot available also as an add-on. So the E5 feature is the most comprehensive plan that Microsoft 365 as a productivity tool have. So what do we have here? We have the desktop plan of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Windows 11 Enterprise, no additional cost for that, Outlook, Exchange, SharePoint, and all of this variety of tools. These are everything including the analytic one, which is Power BI Pro. So you can see, in comparison with the E3, it doesn't have analytics capabilities, but for the E5 it has everything, and that is why it costs you $54.75 per user per user, because it has everything that you would need and more. So remember, your enterprise plans offers you a range of licenses, and it covers up to 1,000 people, 1,000 staff. As a consultant, you should know that. But I want you to take note of something. With all of these things that we have said, this enterprise plan doesn't come with Teams. So you can see it doesn't have Teams, meaning that you still need to purchase teams as a standalone plan. So you need to know all these things so that you can, like I said, you should be able to advise whosoever you're advising properly, in order for them to know the best plan for their business. And an organization can use multiple plans. You must not use only enterprise because you are 1,000 people. You must not use business premium because you are 300 people. You can have a mix of all the plans. You can say 50 people are using business basic, 10 people are using business standard, 20 people are using business premium, 5 people are using enterprise E3, another one they are using the enterprise E5. So you can scatter it across your organization. You're not limited to anything. Okay, so which leads us to the Microsoft 365 F3 plan. The F3 plan is that word F is actually called frontliner. We'll be looking at more of this frontliner as we progress. Now let me just pause it here and move to the Office 365 plan, because we'll definitely come to the frontline plan. So what we just talked about is Microsoft 365 Enterprise Plan. How about the Office 365 plans? Office 365 actually have their own plans. So you have the Office 365 E1 at just $7.75, and if you read down, you can see all that it can offer you. So remember the difference between Microsoft 365 and Office 365, and that is exactly what you see here on display. Okay, the Microsoft 365 plan offers you Windows, offers you device management, and Power BI, but for the what they call it now, the Office plans, you do not get to see device management, you do not get to see Windows plans, you do not get to see Planner, you do not get to see Planner, but you can get your Power BI there, just like you can see over here in the Office 365 E5 plan. So remember, the striking difference between Office 365 and Microsoft 365 is mobile device management, Planner, and Windows. These are the differences between the Office 365 Enterprise Plan and Office 365 Microsoft 365 Enterprise Plan. So you can just take your time and go through them to really see what they can offer you. Okay, so you have the E1, E3, and E5. Okay, remember, for Microsoft 365 you have only what? E3 and E5, but for Office 365 you have E1, E3, and E5. Please take note of that. Microsoft 365 you have what? E3 and E5. Office 365 Enterprise plans, you have what? E1, E3, and E5, and most of the time they have no Teams, all of them, so you have to purchase an additional standalone Teams license. Okay, so remember, we have what you call Microsoft 365 apps for business. For the enterprise calls it Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise. So it looks like that Microsoft 365 apps for business, for the business plans. It doesn't really have all the functionalities that you would need or that an enterprise plan would need. Okay, so you can just read through this to see all that it has, so that you know how to position yourself to prefer solutions. So I don't want us to dwell so much on that. You can always go back and read them or read about them. So now we have what we call the frontline plans. The frontline plans. Now what does it mean? Now, Microsoft deemed it fit to create a plan for frontline workers. Who is a frontline worker? A frontline worker is someone who doesn't really need the full feature of Microsoft 365. It's someone who is always at the forefront, of an establishment. Example, you can have your teller in the bank is at the forefront. You can have people on the field, like mechanics that work on the field. You can have people that work on a station, could be a railway station or any kind of station that are not really inside people. They are people that just use Word, Outlook, the basic features, but the desktop plans or the web plans, depending on what they need it for. So the frontline plans are for frontline workers, people that do not need all the shenanigans or all the features that Microsoft can actually offer. Okay, so for the frontline plan, you have F1 and F3. F1 is so affordable, but guess what? We all know, I don't want to say that word, but I have to say it, right? They say better soup na money kill am. So as you can see that it is $2.25. That's exactly what it has to offer you. Okay, it doesn't have all the features in this world. And guess what? For the F1 plan, it offers just the web version. It doesn't give you desktop version. So if you're using the F plan that goes for this $2.25, just know that it's the web version. But guess what? For the business plan and the enterprise plan, including the home plans, they will give you what? 1 terabyte of cloud storage. But for these F plans, the frontline plans, they are frontline workers, they do not give you that 1 terabyte. They give you just 2 GB of space. Okay, they just give you 2 GB of space for both your OneDrive and your Exchange. Okay, so but looking at the Microsoft 365 F3 plan, which is the bigger frontline plan, it offers what? It offers everything that you need here in the F1. But guess what? It gives you what they call it now. It gives you the desktop versions of it. However, the cloud storage is just 2 GB as well. So it gives you all of this in desktop format, including Windows Enterprise, but the cloud storage is 2 GB. So you need to take note of that. Okay, so you have plans with Teams and plans without Teams. If you click here, it becomes cheaper because it doesn't have Teams. I don't want to talk about that one because you definitely need the Teams, but the enterprise plan doesn't have Teams. You have to purchase it's standalone team. So let's quickly move on to government plans. We have to move on very fast. So the government plans are for government institutions or government bodies. When we were talking about public, private, and hybrid cloud, right? The government plans offers government features in the sense that government people do not need, because they are sensitive, they do not need to share in the public space. So it's more like Microsoft saying, okay, we have a dedicated space. We designed a private cloud for the government people. So people in government, people in position of power, they get to use the government plans because it is hosted in Microsoft's private cloud dedicated for the government. So you can see it is targeted towards the US government. Government plans are designed for unique needs of government organization. They provide all the features and capabilities of Microsoft 365 services in a segmented government cloud community. So that's that private space, private cloud, okay, that enables organization to meet US compliance and security standards. So the US, they have their compliance and security standards. Example, you can talk about the ISO, the HIPAA, the GDPR, all those. If you do not know what that means, you can go ahead and Google it. ISO, and some of the series of numbers, GDPR, HIPAA, and all of that. So you can just go ahead and look them up and know what they are. So this private cloud is actually designed to meet this compliance and security standards. It's not like the public cloud that is shareable. It's dedicated to the government. So if you are kind of tilted towards the US government in that sense, if you're working within that area, maybe you're a civil servant in the US, right? You get to use government plans. You don't get to use the regular plans like the business, the enterprise. No, you use the government ones. So in the government plans, we have the Office 365 government, which is G3. You can go ahead and read more about this. It works like we have the business plans and the enterprise plans, right? So Office 365 Government G3 works exactly like the enterprise plan of Office 365 E3. Office 365 G5 works exactly like the enterprise of Office 365 E5. The Microsoft 365 G3 works exactly like the Microsoft 365 E3. you know they are putting G now because it's government. If it's enterprise, it will be E, right? So the Microsoft 365 government plans gives you what? G5 plan. Okay, just the same thing as your E5 plan. So you see, you can just take your time and read through. I'm going to be sharing all of this in the comment so you can read through it. I just want us to be done with all the subscriptions, and so we can move on to hands-on. Okay, so please and please, I don't mind you watching this video over and over again just to understand what it is. So the next one is the non-profit plan. So Microsoft 365, Microsoft as a company is very benevolent. They actually offer grants, to organizations like the student one, that they give free plans for students eligible institutions. The same thing happens to if you are running a non-profit business. Microsoft will actually offer you discounted price for your charity organization. So let's just go ahead and see. So for small and mid-sized non-profits, that's small and mid-sized charity organization, Microsoft will give them free licenses up to 300. Multiply, that's free Microsoft 365 Business Basic licenses, up to 300 of it. Multiply $6 times 300. Come on now, that's beautiful, right? Microsoft is giving them for free the entire Microsoft 365 Business Basic subscription that offers 300 licenses for free. So if you are in a small community whereby you do charity work, Microsoft is going to give you for free. And for the business standard, Microsoft is going to give you $3 instead of you paying $6. Okay, and the premium price, instead of you paying $22, Microsoft is going to crash it down to $5 up to 10. It's going to be free for up to 10 users, right? Then the remaining users in the organization will purchase it for $5.50 instead of $22. So that's beautiful, isn't that so? So that's exactly what Microsoft does for small and mid-sized organization. So for the large non-profits who will be needing the enterprise plans, E3 and E5, you can imagine Microsoft crashes it down to $9 for them and $22.80 for them. So if you're running a very large charity organization like Red Cross, Rotary, all this kind of stuff, who are doing humanity work, Microsoft is going to crash the prices down for you. Instead of you paying $35 and $54 for your enterprise plans, Microsoft is going to slash it very, very little for you. But you need to find out your eligibility to know if you qualify. So if you have gotten to this part, I want you to take your time, rewatch this video, take your time, Google about this. I'm going to drop the link for you so that you can understand the subscription plans. Okay, I want you to take your time and understand it. Now there's the last one I want to talk to us about. It is very crucial to our understanding, so please understand it with all that you've got. Okay, so it is called the standalone plans. So let's go there. So we have the standalone plans. So for the standalone plans, I would like to talk about the Exchange Online plan. Now, naturally, when you purchase your Microsoft 365 Business Basic, it comes with an Exchange Online Plan 1. So what does this mean? It means that you get to have 50 gig of mailbox storage whenever you purchase the Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Microsoft 365 Business Standard. So by the time you purchase those subscription types, it comes with an Exchange Online Plan 1 license embedded with it. But you can decide to say, okay, I do not need Office Suite, I do not need SharePoint, I do not need all of that. I use Google Workspace. However, I want my team to only use the mailing service. I want my team to only use the mailing service of what? of Microsoft 365, and so I will purchase a standalone plan of Exchange Online Plan 1. So the second plan is the Exchange Online Plan 2, and this Exchange Online Plan 2 is usually found called across boards when you're using the let's go back there. When you're using the enterprise plans, you get to see the what? You get to see the Exchange Online Plan 2, in the sense that you get to have 100 GB of mailbox storage. Okay, so if you're using the business basic, in fact the business features, the business subscriptions, you get to have only access to 50 GB of email space. But if you're using the enterprise plans E5, you get to have 100 GB of what? Space, of email space. So some people would not want to go for the business basic, business premium, business standard, or enterprise plan. They just only want a single plan. So what do? They go and purchase it as a standalone license. So they get to purchase it as a standalone license for $4 per user. Okay, let's see if it must have changed. Okay, it's still the same thing. So they purchase it for $4 per user and $8 per user for the plan 2. So Exchange Online Plan 1 has what? 50 GB, and Exchange Online Plan 2 has what? 100 GB of space. So let's browse below. So for the Exchange Online Plan 2, which is actually available across your business plans, okay, it actually offers you the minimal email security, like anti-malware and anti-spam analytics, or anti-malware and anti-spam policy scanning, right? So the Exchange Online Plan 2, which is available in your enterprise plans, it offers much more. For example, the data loss prevention plan, and it gives you what? 100 GB of space. So that is exactly what I want you to know about these plans. They are actually embedded in your plans, okay? They're actually embedded in all these plans, right? However, when you go to your enterprise plans, you get to start using 100 GB of space. So if you're someone who uses a lot of emails and your 50 GB of space is exhausted and you do not want to delete anything, right? There's what you call online archiving, but don't worry about that. We'll talk that later. You don't want to delete that and you want to purchase more space. So what do? You can purchase a standalone plan of Exchange Online Plan 2, and it gives you what? 100 GB. Or you use the Enterprise E5 license and you get to have 100 GB. So to make this more insightful and so that you don't get confused, because I know there are so many of them, so that you don't get confused, I'm going to create a table and I'm going to put all of these in the table, okay? And I'm going to share with you, but I need you to watch this so that you would understand what they are all about. So aside that, we also have the Teams standalone plan. So some organizations, they don't use Microsoft, they use Google, they use something else. However, they are in love with Microsoft Teams, so they don't want to purchase the business basic, they don't want to purchase any of the business plans, neither do they want to purchase any of the enterprise plans. So what do? They purchase a standalone plan, which is the Microsoft Teams. Okay, so it offers about $4. Let's see if it has okay, still the same thing. So you see, so you can purchase this Microsoft Teams standalone for $4. If you still want to get Teams, but you want to have it alongside the business basic plan, you can go for the business basic or the business standard. But for a standalone, Teams costs, only Teams as a service cost $4, just like only Exchange Online, which is your emailing system, your mailbox, costs let's go back there. So it costs $4 for Exchange Online Plan 1, which is embedded in all your business plans, and Exchange Online Plan 2, which is embedded in your E5 plan, costs $8 and 100 GB, just in case you want to get it alone. Okay, so without much ado, I think we've satisfied all major criteria when it has to do with subscription types in Microsoft 365. We have satisfied all major criteria. So like I said, please watch it again, read through again. I'm going to share the links that has the table, so you can just go ahead to read it and understand it. It's going to build your consultancy muscles. So if you do not understand all of this, you cannot be able to consult for an organization, talk less of handling the technical part of it. So if you've made it this far, thank you so very much for watching, and God bless you. Stay safe. Bye.